7 years later, President Roosevelt was too sick to go up to the Capitol and give his annual State of the Union address.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
It has been my custom to deliver these annual messages in person.
So he gave it from the White House over the radio. When it was over, he asked the newsreel cameras to step into his room because he wanted the American people to see one particular part of his speech. The President of the United States then took the radical step of proposing a second Bill of Rights to the Constitution.
In our day, certain economic truths have become accepted as self-evident. A second Bill of Rights, under which a new basis of security and prosperity can be established for all, regardless of station or race or creed. Among these are the right to a useful and remunerative job, the right to earn enough to provide adequate food and clothing and recreation, the right of every farmer to raise and sell his products at a return which will give him and his family a decent living, the right of every businessman, large and small, to trade in an atmosphere of freedom, freedom from unfair competition and domination by monopolies at home or abroad, the right of every family to a decent home, the right to adequate medical care, and the opportunity to achieve and enjoy good health, the right to adequate protection from the economic fears of old age, sickness, accident, and unemployment, the right to a good education. All of these rights spell security. And after this war is won, we must be prepared to move forward in the implementation of these rights to new goals of human happiness and well-being. For unless there is security here at home, there cannot be lasting peace in the world.
Roosevelt would be dead in little over a year. He would not live to see the end of the war, nor would there be any enactment of his new Bill of Rights. Had he lived and succeeded, every American, regardless of race, would have had a right to a decent job, a livable wage, universal health care, a good education, an affordable home, a paid vacation, and an adequate pension. Come to pass, no American would be guaranteed any of this. But the people of Europe and Japan got every one of these rights. How did that happen? After the war, the people of Roosevelt's administration went overseas to help rebuild Europe. During this time, new constitutions were written for the defeated nations of Germany, Italy, and Japan. The Italian Constitution guaranteed all women equal rights, and this was 1947. The German Constitution said that the state has the right to take over property and the means of production for the common good. And here's what we wrote up for the Japanese. All workers have a right to organize into a union, and academic freedom is guaranteed. For the next 65 years, we would not become the country that Roosevelt wanted us to be. Instead, we became this. I remember thinking during the Katrina flood Why is it always the poor who have to suffer the misery? Why isn't it ever Bernie Madoff up on the roof screaming for help? Or the head of Citibank, or the hedge fund guys at Goldman Sachs, or the CEO at AIG? It never is these guys, is it? It's always those who never got a slice of the pie, because these men took it all and left them with nothing, left them to die. We live in the richest country in the world. We all deserve a decent job, health care, a good education, a home to call our own. We all deserve FDR's dream. And it's a crime that we don't have it. And we never will, as long as we have a system that enriches the few at the expense of the many. Capitalism isn't evil, and you cannot regulate evil. You have to eliminate it and replace it with something that is good for all people. And that something is called democracy.